Cold outreach is completely turning around our clients' businesses, no matter the industry. So if you want to stop struggling to generate qualified leads for your businesses, like it or not, you need to start sending cold emails. Now, in this video, I'm going to go over the exact strategies and systems that we utilize to help this clothing brand book $150,000 in revenue in only 4 months alone. Let's get into it. Now, before we start, I just want to give a little color as to the conversations we had with this brand before teaming up together. Now, before this brand partnered with us, they were spending thousands of dollars on other lead generation strategies like paid ads, events, partnerships, and other strategies that were simply just starting to fall flat, or that they were seeing incremental returns, meaning that the dollars that they were putting in weren't equating to the dollars that they were expecting or getting initially in the investment of that activity before we stepped in. Now, after having a meeting with them, there was one critical thing that we had to change if we didn't want our campaigns to go to waste. Now, we changed their offer from we just sell t-shirts to gym owners, which is absolutely true, to something that sounds a little bit like this. We partner with gym owners to add $3,000 a year in profit to their business by building a customized apparel plan for the year so they never miss a buying opportunity. We'll make sure you never waste money on apparel orders by implementing a pre-sale strategy to your members so you're never left with incorrect t-shirt sizes or a pro shop full of last season's gear that doesn't sell. Now, taking a look at those two offers, there's a huge fundamental difference between the two. The first one is just the mechanism itself. We sell t-shirts to gyms. Blah. Right, super boring, super bland, and it's not really going to capture your attention. You're not going to stand out from the market itself. And so where we see that mechanism sort of like pitch of like, here's what we do and who we are, right? That's something that you'll want to do in something like you're selling to the aerospace industry or cybersecurity or hardware, right? Something that's like really technical in nature and you're engaging a technical persona. You'll want to go more in depth into exactly what you do and how you help when you're engaging those people as opposed to being more outcome driven. But in our case here, we're speaking directly to business owners, and in that fact, they're gym owners, right? So they're rather just commonplace, normal people, not super technically educated or well-versed into the business space, and I mean no slight at that. And so what we essentially do, just so we can speak better that target population, is we just reshape that offer to be focused on what does the outcome look like, right? So we have the mechanism, which is the input, but the outcome is the actual output of that mechanism activity, right? So ultimately, we make more t-shirts for you guys, but at the end of that activity, we help you make more money. $3,000 a year in profit at that. And then we just shared the process on how we did it with a little bit of comforting on that risk reversal, right? I talk around apparel plans and how we're not going to ensure that you have a bunch of orders that don't sell and that pain point of a pro shop that's filled with orders that just don't even move itself. In our copywriting here, we were really artful in that presentation, but the meat is still there to just show like, hey, we're going to bring you guys more money, and here's exactly how we're going to do it. This change was about 70% of the job for helping us win here, because gyms didn't just see us as their clothing brand, they saw us as their clothing partner, helping them make more money. And when you think about what it takes to win in sales and in cold email or in cold outreach for that matter, is specifically, how can you help me make more money? And I'm sure there will be counter arguments and comments saying that other benefits exist, like saving time, saving money, saving resources, elevating your status, getting you into an exclusive group, etc., etc. Like there's all sorts of ton of benefits, but I'm telling you, when you come to people with an offer of saying, I will help you make more money, they're going to love it every single time. So breaking down this offer even more, right? We partner with gym owners to help them add $3,000 a year in profit back to their business by building customized apparel plans so you never miss another buying opportunity. We call it the ICP, gym owners. We call out the time frame, a year that we help them do it. We share the unique mechanism on how we do it, apparel plans. But as good as that offer it might have been, we still had to get in front of the right gyms. Now with Forever Fierce, we ran a few different strategies to make this happen. Now, our first campaign that we ran here was going after event attendees. It's not a typical campaign sequence that we run for most businesses as of yet, but after the success that we had with this campaign, it's gonna be a standard play. So if you're a business owner and you have a list of event attendees from before or after the event, we'll run hyper-targeted campaigns going after those specific individuals. And what we specifically did with this campaign was really just utilize the event attendance as the personalization of, hey, notice you had the chance to attend XYZ Summit. And then we just spin that up in a few different variations. It looks like you had the chance to attend XYZ Summit. Sorry, I missed you there, right? Different variations of that. And then in the subject line, just call out the summit itself, but the copywriting is just the personalization and then the offer that we've already broken down here before. And so after 1.2 thousand sends of emails to these event attendees, we got 27 positive replies and we're able to book 22 meetings from this activity here. Now, the common thread of really what stands out and what's made this campaign work so effectively is just the relevancy, right? We noticed that we both had the chance to attend the same event, and it's just going to float to the top of their inbox because they know this is absolutely true and something that they were recently engaged with. Our secondary campaign that we ran for Forever First was going after F45 locations because our point of contact over there shared that he had a few initial sales conversations, and one of the common threads that he was getting from those franchise locations was that they struggle to get really quality and decent swag options from their corporate locations. So guess what? That's exactly what we utilize in our copywriting techniques. But let's talk around the data first and how we found those target populations, because I think this is really unique and can relate to a lot of brands. And so what we did was we just hopped on F45's website and we noticed that they just had a list of all the different franchise locations. So we hired a freelancer off of Upwork to go and scrape that list and just pull all the different websites from that F45 main general website. We then took the list of F45 locations and their respective websites. We plugged it into Clay. We used a tool called Appify to scrape those individual websites to see if we could find the contact information and email addresses of those personas. And then if it wasn't there, we just ran that through a waterfall enrichment process, utilizing a tool called Clay across a few other databases to just find those different target populations. It's a little bit more than nitty-gritty technical work, but this had some incredible results from a data perspective. It got us around like 900 or so leads that we ran out and ran targeted campaigns against. And once we had this data on this personas, it was really just some small tweaks to the copywriting, calling out how we've heard from other F45 locations that getting decent swag options is a challenge, and some other pain points that we heard around that customer journey. But after around like 2.6K sends and booked 20 meetings as a result, and Matt was actually able to close a few deals as a result of this. So all in all, pretty effective campaign, utilizing some knowledge that we already had on the market itself. So the last campaign that we'll run for Matt, and we'll probably continually to run it forever because it worked so effectively well at getting him really good clients. So let me share my screen and I'll jump in and show you exactly what I mean as to how we do that. The first part of this process was we utilized GPT to go in and ask what are the 50 biggest metropolitan areas in the US, and then pull its GPS coordinates. And then that 11Z number is essentially the scale of your reach, right? And so 12Z is like the smallest, 11Z is kind of the medium, 10Z is essentially like the region, and then 9Z is going to be larger, like the state almost of scale. So we wanted to be pretty refined into just like focusing on that metropolitan area. And so with that, we then utilize a tool called SerperDev. And the reason that we like SerperDev is it's just a little bit more accurate and cheaper than D7 Labs and Outscraper, excuse me, D7 Lead Scraper, Lead Finder, and then Outscraper. And then essentially what you do is you just use a Google SerperDev endpoint that you're seeing here, a post method. So essentially means that that's going to like take the data and post it here. The query string is Q for CrossFit gyms, the location that we're plugging in here. And then the page, what this means is it's going to scrape the 21st results on Google Maps for CrossFit gyms in New York in this case. We then will do page 2, page 3, page 4. So we essentially have 80 CrossFit gyms within that metropolitan area before we start seeing a decline in that data. This will then create a bunch of that different data sets here. And we will bunch of different number of records created 20. And so we will then take that and we're going to have that post into another table where we can see a little bit more of that data behind the screens. And so now we have a list of all of the gyms, right? 80 gyms within those 50 metropolitan areas. And so we're gonna have a pretty good list of these individuals, right? So 2,800 rows of solid data. This is pulling in the created date, the uploaded date, Google Maps URL, like some normalized just company information. So it'll show up clean and easy in an email format. We then pull the website, which will be helpful because the next aspect that we're gonna do is we're going to scrape the existing company website and see if we can pull the founders from that information. Yeah, awesome. Oh, actually, excuse me. The next thing that we did was actually pull the location count because we didn't want to go after franchise locations that have a ton of different locations. We just wanted to go after individual businesses themselves. So it pulls the location count, and then we have a franchise score. It was like 50, 80, or 120. And then we just filtered out the other ones that like obviously were franchise locations. And then that's where we use GPT to go and scrape those company websites to find those different owners. And so it'll pull all the founders. And what we found in our initial scrape is that you get multiple names in this use case. And so that's when we broke it out into first founder, secondary founder, and third founder. Obviously, not all of them have that, which is like fine. And so that'll give us a list of all the founders there. We then took this list and we had this push into another table, right? Where we're going to run a waterfall enrichment process across a bunch of different databases. So what that essentially look like, right? You see the post of the data, full name, job title, company domain, some more information there. And then we just run this through a bunch of different databases, Prospeo, Find Email, Datagma, Lead Magic are our first one there. Who else we're utilizing here? Drop Contact. And then this one didn't yield anything for, I don't think any of them. Rocket Reach. And then lastly was People Data Labs. So we had around like 7 different data sources. And at that point we had a ton of different work emails to go off of. And we liked working off the work emails because we just saw a higher conversion with that activity. But additionally on that back end, we also pulled in their Facebook site, as you might have saw here, their Facebook URL that posted from that table earlier. And then we had that just pull in here as well because we just wanted to have a backup database. And at that point, we have all the contact data and information of the target personas that we want to go after for the foreseeable future. And that was just solely focused on the CrossFit gyms within the 50 largest metropolitan areas. But you can really see like how we could segment that out even further to uncover more data and unique strategies. Like we could go after localized gyms, we could go after rehabilitation facilities, specifically in regards to fitness, in like small little different niche keywords that we could latch onto and run this exact same technique, both in gyms for this client, but also across other client bases utilizing the same methodology and process. And so one of the biggest learning lessons that I want to share with you out of this entire process was like, one of the things that worked out really well for us here is how we're able to just think outside of the box. And we ran a play specifically for going after an events landscape. We ran a play going after this geolocation strategy, right? And uncovering that really hard to find data that individuals aren't willing to put in that work, to put in that extra sweat and grind to get and uncover. That's where you're able to see outsized results for the campaign. So I would encourage you guys to go back, watch that video again so you can ascertain that data, so you guys can get similar results exactly like this and start booking 25, 30, 40, 50 meetings every single month. And that's exactly how, after 4 months of working together, we were able to book 119 sales calls and generate over $150,000 in revenue. So if you want to be our next case study and let us run these campaigns for you, book some time down here below and let's get to work. By the way, you also want to watch this video. It's going to make you more money.